Here's what the article says. New marathon info, Bungie morale, launch worries, and changing plans. Morale is bad. Here's the bullet point of what Paul is saying is happening internally at Bungie. The public explanation for the art theft, one ex-employee taking things in 2020, is the same one being given internally at Bungie among the rank and file. Sony and Bungie legal are now sorting through this, and there is unlikely to be any much new information as all of this continues to unfold. It is not clear how long an audit will take these assets to remove or find any more plagiarism, as it's an expansive enough process to have Bungie not even show any footage at all in its recent live stream. I gotta say, a little bit of a hot take at this one. I wonder if the legal situation is going to heat up. I hate to say it, and I know some, well, I shouldn't say I know them, like we don't hang out or talk to each other, but I've met enough of the Bungie people to know that they're mostly good people in there. Obviously, the people that steal art, not so great. They're not on my favorite person list right now. But I think Joe Cross is, he might be done. And I say that because like he was in the leadership role when this happened. This is also like the 5th instance of something like this happening. And I'm concerned about whatever the outcome is going to be. I don't think we've heard the end of the story. I think he's taking it really hard. Like the thumbnail that I used for the stream today, that was his outro for the stream, which was a technical disaster. Like, this is a technical stream. This is one of those streams where, you know, shit's kind of going to hit the fan just organically because you're testing a bunch of stuff. Like, I'm trying to stream to 17 different platforms, not 17, 4. I'm trying to stream to 4 different platforms at once, and I'm testing all this stuff. I label it a test stream. That stream that we watched was from a company that Sony paid, what, $3.6 billion for. They just put on a stream not that long ago that was very well done, very polished. I didn't like the content, but when you're just critiquing the content and not the actual quality of production, you're doing quite well. So in terms of video production, whatever that, like, just the microphones alone, I'm like, why are you using Radio Shack microphones? Like, I just don't get it. They have people on their team who are audio engineers, and they probably would have said, don't use those mics. They probably have like 5 old soundboards they could have plugged in. Like, if they needed audio routing stuff, they could have did audio routing. The easiest way to do that stream was to get whatever camera they were using and have Discord playing and route the headphones from, I hope they were using something like OBS, from OBS into the presenter's headphones so that they can hear program. Like, it's a pretty basic setup. So let me think about all the signals they had to worry about, right? They had the main camera on the 2 guys. They had 2 mic inputs, and they had a laptop or something outputting Discord into OBS, at least the audio. So, and then you have their headphones, which could have just been plugged into a splitter and then run back out to them. And they could have just listened to the program from OBS or from the broadcast. Or just let them plug in and just wear your earbuds and listen on your phone. Your delays. Anyway, I'm kind of getting into the weeds of it. I do not understand how a company that was purchased for like $3.6 billion can't put together a live stream. It was just so bad. And like, I'm very critical about like production stuff from stuff. Just because I worked in, like, most of the stuff I do is production stuff, right? And somehow, like, he was in the Discord call and that's what he was listening to, and they banned him from the Discord or kicked him from the Discord in the middle of the show, so he couldn't hear what Cosmo was saying to him. And I'm like, what is happening? Like, I don't know the behind the scenes of it. I know they had a whole crew dedicated to stuff like this. And I'm just like, how the frick does that happen? How does that happen? It was tonight's stream where I just threw a bunch of text in it. Like, if you're having technical issues, stop, fix all this stuff, especially, like, you got the apology out of the way. Here's what the stream should have been. Hey, we were going to show you a bunch of cool stuff. We are dealing with this issue where Anti-Real's artwork was used. We were going to give you some updates about the game. So we're going to go through those really quick in terms of some interesting patch notes some of you might be into. But first, an apology. They read the apology. And then they end the stream. We'll be back next week. We'll be back tomorrow to talk about the game. End the stream. Like, I've had streams where I have massive technical issues because, like, a driver will get pushed. Like, if a driver gets pushed during my stream, it'll destroy the whole stream. Like, I'll start getting drop frames and everything. But if you're a professional production studio, I just don't get it. I don't mean to harp on this. It's just like the production stuff. It was a disaster. Like, it's embarrassing for Sony. It's embarrassing for Bungie. I'm at the point where I think they are being sabotaged purposefully for some reason. That's my tinfoil hat, you guys. I think that, like, why in the world would they do the stream? Why would they do the stream for an hour? It was like an hour, and like nobody cared about the game stuff. There's all, and in Paul's reporting, he talks about how they've been telling the higher ups, the good old boys, that, oh, well, no, we got to launch in September? I think somebody wants a paycheck. Somebody potentially named Pete. And that's why they need to release this stuff. Hyperbole, that's me guessing. I think this is executive management, or it's Sony. Like, Sony is the only one that I think is like too far tinfoil hat. I think it's somebody inside of Bungie who's like, we just need to get this game out in September and I get my big payday. Does anybody know the timeline of when those payouts happen? What's the payout date for the contracts? I think they need to launch in September due to this is a conspiracy theory, Destin. I think they need to launch in September in order to meet a contractual obligation that they have with the Sony contract that they signed, so that the executive management team can get paid. And I bet you everybody's going to leave once that happens. I bet you everyone's going to bail once that happens. Meddling at the tippity top from the big time corpo good old boys? Nah, never seen that before, says Brandon. Yeah, that's what I think's happening. I think they're looking to get their payday and get out. And I do think that there's people working on Marathon who care about it and everything. But I also know that they fired the production staff who did the streams. And I'm guessing that the really good ones, they are probably hiring an outside firm to come in and do the production. That's what I would do. Oh, you fired everybody who can produce a live stream at the company? Okay, well, we're going to hire a firm. Yeah, we're not going to do that. Why? Because Sony just had their earnings call and they basically cut all of our budget. So anyway, that's its conspiracy theory. Let's hear how Bungie's doing from Paul Tassi. Sony and Bungie Legal are now sorting through this, and there is unlikely to be any much new information as all of this continues to unfold. It's not clear how long an audit will take of the assets to remove or find any more plagiarism, as it's an expansive enough process to have Bungie not even show any footage at all in its recent live stream. Why in the world would you not just buy the artwork with that person or reach out to them and see if that's a possibility? They asked that during the live stream and they're like, oh yeah, we would like that. But like, no, why wouldn't you just say, well, I would love that. We would be able to utilize their artwork and like, it could be like a happier ending than what they currently have. What they currently have is the story being told online is Bungie steals artwork to make their games. I think the solution proposed was good. Morale is in free fall across all departments, and the vibes have never been worse. Everyone has the same concerns about what happens to Bungie as a studio if Marathon bombs, which is something they absolutely cannot afford. I've got real bad news for everybody who loves Bungie as much as I do. Marathon is not going to be a commercial success. That is my opinion. I don't think that there's any way this game comes out and is a huge hit. I don't see it. I said it when I did the first exfil chat. I said, I do not think that this is going to happen. And that's hard for me to say because like I said earlier, I think there's good people at Bungie, but I think they better buckle up because if this game is not delayed, it's done. It is going to be a Concord. And I don't revel in that. I don't think it's funny. It's really, really unfortunate. If this is what takes out Bungie, that's going to suck. The reason I did laugh, yeah. What if it does? It is. Guys, like, look at the sentiment around Marathon before the 10 million view plagiarism claim from Anti-Real. Everybody's saying it looks dumb. The hardcore fans like myself and Fran and Paul, like we're willing to give it a shot. I don't see any world that this is the success that it needs to be for them to continue. Steam's policy on games using uncredited or unauthorized assets is clear. Developers must ensure they have the legal rights to all assets, including those generated by AI used in their game. Wow. Anti-Real's style and aesthetic is all over the game. Even the original teaser, I hope she sues. Her artwork and style is literally still on the website. They have to scrub every piece of marketing material. They have to scrub everything. Everything. Philoroni, thank you for the 10, by the way. I do appreciate it. And thank you to the members for joining the stream today. They have to redo it all. Like, what does their game even look like if they take out the look, the whole look and the feel? We're going to read a tier or a thread here in a little bit that talks about why, like, the art style is a little bit different. Like, it's not just that. There are not even hints or jokes about a delay from the September release date internally. With that said, it is entirely possible, if not likely, those conversations are happening privately between higher-up Sony and Bungie leadership. It's unclear what the plan is to launch the game in a now actively hostile environment just a few months from now, or how to turn that around. You can't. I have no clue what they can do to turn it around. Go do an actually not dog shit live stream, maybe, would be a good start. And just say, one last time, we effed up, and we're going to do everything we can to fix it. Here's what we're doing internally to ensure this never happens again. We've also identified several other employees. They're no longer with the company. And we will do whatever we need to make it right with Anti-Real. Period. Joe saying that statement, that's probably going to get him in some hot water with corporate. I would be very shocked if anybody on the corporate side approved that. And that's why I think Joe might get... He stuck his neck out there, and I respect that he did that a lot because he's put himself in the crosshairs. We all know that, right? Like, we can joke about how much of a disaster the live stream was and like how, you know, I saw the memes about art raiders and everything. But let's be clear, we're probably looking at the end of the studio. This isn't like we're going to burn the midnight oil and get through it. It's the reputation of the brand of Marathon and Bungie a little bit. No, yeah, probably Marathon and Bungie. It's tarnished. I don't know how you fix this by September. And then this game's going to come out. It's going to have like let's be generous. Let's say it has Doom numbers. 30,000. We've seen the attrition from the most dedicated fan base having exclusive access that nobody else has. It was cut in half after the first day. And then that was cut in half the second day. Somebody in chat on Twitch said Barrett was in charge originally. Why has no one interviewed him? Because he is in an active legal battle against Bungie. He's suing them for like $100 million or some crazy amount of money. And Barrett, in his suit, got paid millions of dollars already for some bonus that was paid out a few years back. Like, Barrett's a millionaire. Don't worry about Barrett. I think this whole Bungie situation, this isn't going away anytime soon. The reason I laughed during the presentation is because I was just reading the AI summary, and the AI thought the game that they were making was Concord 2.0 because people in chat were spamming it so hard. And that was an AI on the official stream. Is bad. Some changes to future plans had been made even before this new plagiarism development, mainly as a reaction to gameplay footage and now the closed alpha. People aren't impressed, long story short. At the start of this month, Bungie pulled the plug on its Marathon marketing plan, which was going to have a new trailer in June, along with the launch of pre-orders. The whole campaign needs to be reworked now. So that means pre-orders and the price of the game will not be revealed in June. That's delayed. It's being reworked. They can't show anything they've made because they need to scrub it all for this artwork. A heavily marketed public beta in August may be changed into a roadmap of public playtests with no actual... What are you doing? With no actual details set yet. This would align with Bungie's stated multiple opportunities to play before launch rather than just the upcoming beta. I don't think that's a good idea. Anonymous Boss says there is greed going on, unfortunately. I absolutely think that is the case. I think that's the case. Marathon was originally pitched by higher up good old boy Bungie leadership. And as far back as 5 years ago, devs were telling them what would and wouldn't work and were often ignored. Many have said previously that it needed to have some sort of PvE component. So reading it again, I think they're actually talking about Barrett, who is not with the company anymore. He's the one in the active legal battle. They claim that he did some gross, weird stuff with staff. That's the accusation that Bungie has made. Barrett's accusation to Bungie is that they're making stuff up to tarnish his reputation and not pay him out the millions and millions of dollars. I read part of the court documentation from Barrett. I was going to do a video on it, but I just didn't get around to it. So, yeah. Yeah, I'll make a depressing prediction if you want. Like, do you want me to try and be optimistic, or do you want the depressing Dexton prediction? If they don't delay Marathon, Bungie is done. I'll say it again. Bungie, given everything that has happened, if you don't delay Marathon, your company is probably done. You will lose control to Sony. Don't launch it in September. If you don't have a choice, I hope those of you who get your payouts enjoy your big payday. Why is everybody telling me to go to bed? I agree, Ven. I do not think they can delay. I think they are contractually obligated. There's two scenarios here, and this is conspiracy theory, conjecture. None of this is true. This is just what Destin's thinking. Like, I'm thinking about corporate. What's the corporate game going on here? Pete wants his big payday to go get a bunch of new cars. And Pete's like the top guy now. There's a whole documentary out there about Pete Parsons and how he contributed negatively, a net negative to a lot of the stuff that happened at Bungie. The more I learn about it, the more I do not. I personally have a lot of salt with Pete because we did an interview when they went independent. I was very happy for them. And I just don't believe what he told me in the interview anymore. I think it was all bullshit so that he could sell the company to Sony. It's still on IGN. You can go watch it. So that's one theory. And there's other people in leadership that probably want their big payday, but he's like the one that gets it the worst because he's the CEO, I think. And then my other theory is that Sony wants them to fail. So they are saying, this is in the contract, you're launching in September. So they've put themselves in a place where they do not have any choice. They have to launch it because they're contractually obligated to launch it. And if they don't, so like, let's say they delay it from September, they lose the company. If they launch it in September, maybe they get to keep the company. Like, that's where they're at. So I think they're cooked. That's my hot take. And it's sad. Now, Powell had a bit of an interesting thread here about the art stuff. Why stuff Marathon looks like this? So heads up, kids, do your homework. I give you a starter. After Designers Republic hit hard in 1996 with Wipeout, there were several other design studios how took up the torch. Case in point, Bionic Systems, Germany in the late 90s. So like this sort of art style is seen in other pieces of media. But even this, like there's elements of a lot of this stuff that I think you can sort of see some of it, but nobody put it one-to-one the way Anti-Real did. Like, this looks like a Marathon piece of artwork. This looks like it's Marathon, period. Right? Like this poster that was made years before they started looks like it was made for Marathon. Same with this. This is embarrassing. The fact that they actually put in the text that says Anti-Real Daily Series. And like, this is his mishmash, and this is still on the website. It's basically one-to-one. This pattern and this pattern, like, come on. It's just, like, the circles are basically the same. They're a little different, but it's pretty close. There's stuff that's literally copy-pasted. Like, this, copy-pasted. This 28, copy-pasted. Paul Tassi has a really good side-by-side of the 28. Looks like he didn't show it in this one. But yeah, it's bad. So, while I appreciate this person talking about the inspirations, we should not forget people like this person and this person who sort of did the design. Just all this sort of cool artwork and text stuff. And I hear you, but if you showed me this, and said, oh, Marathon copied this, I would be like, I don't know about you, maybe I'm crazy, but I get a different vibe from this set of textures and stuff than I do from the Anti-Real versus Bungie stuff. This style does, this one I could see as one of those fake ads that they made. But anyway, they're just talking about all the inspirations, and like, I see pieces of it, but like, this isn't quite the same. This isn't quite the same as the Anti-Real stuff, because the Anti-Real, it's all the little icons and how it like propagates through the imagery and things. Like, this is just sort of like techno mess. It'd be actually great if Gibbous was still in chat. I don't know if he's heard this story, but I could take him through it and maybe he could give me his opinion as a designer. He did design work for years. He's probably gone. Yeah, and the compounding issue is it's not the first time. There's 2021, 2023, 2024, and 2025. Again, you can go check my full video. But Paul Tassi had a pretty good update on it. There's another one I wanted to talk about in the Sony space. I'm going to start closing these tabs. Yeah, and then the stream was bad on top of it. Here's what Bungie actually said. Let's make sure we get Bungie's side of the story here. We immediately investigated a concern regarding unauthorized use of artist decals in Marathon and confirmed that a former Bungie artist included these in a texture sheet that was ultimately used in game. This issue was unknown by our existing art team, and we are still reviewing how this oversight occurred. We take matters like this very seriously. We have reached out to Anti-Real to discuss the issue and are committed to do right by the artist. As a matter of policy, we do not use the artwork of artists without their permission. I would hope not. To prevent similar issues in the future, we are conducting a thorough review of our in-game assets, specifically those done by the former Bungie artist, and implementing stricter checks to document all artist contributions. We value the creativity and dedication of all artists who contribute to our games, and we are committed to doing right by them. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. And actually, here's Lucky really quick. What about the current Marathon employees and art team that literally follow the artist on this app? Your whole art team follows the artist that has been developing this art style for 10 plus years, and you didn't think to give them any attribution? This isn't an oopsie you can blame on a former employee. Your current employees follow this small artist with a niche style, and then you just coincidentally happen to launch an entire game themed after it. Not buying it. Yeah. And like I said in my video, it's not the first time, not the second time, it's not the third time, it's not the fourth time, it's the fifth time. It's the fifth time something like this has happened at Bungie. The other 4 times, it happened with Destiny. The earliest example was when they were concepting the Destiny assets. That artist had his work taken and used in all of that, and they didn't attribute him. So that leaked. It was never supposed to see the light of day, but they have a habit of doing this. They templated Destiny's style off of an artist who was never credited for it. That's nuts, isn't it? So what were they doing with Marathon? The same thing. I could see being inspired by something, but like this is bad. If that wasn't enough for Sony, I mean, they're owned by Sony, but this is really a Bungie thing. PlayStation executive Jade Raymond is leaving the studio she founded. Her company Haven Studios is developing an online shooter title called Fair Games. I got another one for you. I'll break down this article in a few sentences. People played Fair Games. They said it sucked. And now Jade Raymond quit or was terminated. I'm assuming she quit. She was probably given the option. Now, I remember Jade Raymond from the Ubisoft days. She was kind of their face for a lot of their projects, right? And they used her for Assassin's Creed and all these projects. So I have a lot of fond memories about the projects she's worked on. But people were like, dude, all of the stuff that she's worked on the last several years has flopped. So I dug into it, and that's true. You can see her exit. So Jade Raymond went over to EA. They launched Battlefront 2. And then she was put in charge of the Dead Space team. But she was specifically working on the Star Wars project. She left. The Star Wars project gets shut down. Henning's team is gone. And then they shut down Visceral. It was Visceral, by the way. She went to Stadia. She was like the face of their gaming division for Stadia. Does anybody remember? Who doesn't know what Stadia is? I'm asking genuinely. I bet there are some people in chat who don't even know what Stadia is. Anybody? Mr. Woodsworth, Stadia was Google's streaming device that there's a few people in chat who don't even know what it is. That's how it was Google's bet on gaming. To be fair, it's basically what Microsoft Cloud Gaming is, right? But Google gave up on it. Before they gave up on it, Jade Raymond left to create her own studio. Yeah. So, all the stuff happens at Ubisoft. She goes and creates Ubisoft Toronto. She leaves Ubisoft Toronto. She moves to EA, has a few good projects, leaves EA, and then there's just massive problems at EA. So maybe she just sees it coming, and she knows to get out of the way, right? So then she goes to Stadia, leaves Stadia to start her own company. Stadia is like done. Actually, I don't know the timeline on that, so don't quote me on that. And then now she leaves Haven Studios. I think that game's done too. But we've all thought that for like 2 years. Nobody liked Fair Games. Nobody liked that presentation. Nobody knows what it is. And it's not about Jade Raymond. That game just looks stupid. I'm sorry, it looks dumb. Bunch of purple and you're robbing, like, it. I don't know what your trailer was. And if you can't convey the basics of your idea in a trailer, I think you're cooked. And then there's this behind the scenes presentation about how excited they are to like use AI to 3D generate a woman with like, look, if we type in like turn her into a clown, her face gets a little red, then she puts a nose on. Isn't that cool? And then we're like gorilla masks, and like they were getting in all the Kool-Aid, the NFTs. Well, I don't know about the NFTs, but like the AI was definitely, they were all drinking the AI Kool-Aid over there. So to me, I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. I already didn't like Fair Games because of the trailer. And then I actually watched Kyle Bossman's video. And he pointed out that they're doing like AI generation where like people can wear monkey heads and stuff like that and doing presentations about it. Yeah. So I don't know. Here's what Try wrote up about it, though, if you want to hear more. PlayStation leadership didn't give Haven's staff a reason for her departure, but it came several weeks after an external test of Haven's first game, the online shooter Fair Games. According to people with knowledge of the matter, some developers at Haven were concerned about how the game was received and its progress, said the people, who asked not to be identified because they aren't authorized to speak publicly. Some developers at Haven were concerned about how the game was received. It sucked. Like, I appreciate that Jason's probably quoting the person, but that's code word for their game didn't demo well. People didn't like it. Jade Raymond has been an incredible partner and visionary force in founding Haven Studios, a PlayStation spokesperson said in a statement. We are deeply grateful for her leadership and contributions, and we wish her all the best in her next chapter. I got to be honest with you guys. I still put all these problems on Jim Ryan. This is all Jim Ryan's garbage that PlayStation was left to deal with. Oh, make all these live service games. Let's buy all these studios. What are they making? Oh, they're making Concord and Fair Games. It's like, what were they doing? Shocking enough. We're going to get to the bad Microsoft news, by the way. Don't worry. Stellar Blade PC port, by the way. It's blocked on Steam in over 100 countries, surprising the developer because, Sony said they wouldn't do that to their game. Potentially due to the infamous issue of PlayStation account linking, Stellar Blade's PC port is appearing as unavailable for many players. Great. I want the quote. Where are the quotes? Shift Up seems to think that PSN account linking won't be required for Stellar Blade's Steam version, so either Sony, as the publisher, has accidentally implemented this when listing the game on Valve's platform, or it's doing so intentionally, but with a communication breakdown between them and the developer. I expect that this will be solved or rolled back before the game's PC launch in order to avoid another Helldivers 2 level uproar. I don't think this author followed up on the Helldivers 2 story. The last I heard on the Helldivers 2 story is it's still not available in like 100 places. I don't think they ever fixed that. So I think Sony, I think Sony did it on purpose. They do not want they want PSN in all their games, and if they can't do it, then yeah. All right, I've been kind of, a lot of these are like Sony bad stories. Do you want to go to the Microsoft bad stories now? Everybody? How's that sound? By the way, it totally was Kick. All the problems at the start of the stream, it was Kick. So you know what I might do? I might use the new tool that I'm using to stream to YouTube and use Restream to go to Kick. I don't know. All right, let's get to the Microsoft bad stories. Hit hardest in Microsoft's layoffs, developers, product managers, and morale. That's right. A bunch of people just got fired at Microsoft again. One of my college roommates has been at Microsoft since graduating, got fired. I won't say who, but to say he's devastated. Like, this is a guy, loves Xbox, loves gaming, loves Microsoft. He's gone. Just, 13 to 15 years of his life. I'm sure he'll be fine. He is very smart and very talented. I know he's going to be fine, but that was where he wanted to be. He wanted to be at Microsoft. It's bad. It's bad. Microsoft push for efficiency. Sorry, the text is so small. Placed a heavy emphasis on eliminating layers of management, but layoff data from this week showed managers didn't bear the brunt of job cuts. The Redmond-based software maker on Tuesday announced it was letting go of more than 6,000 employees company-wide. Jeez. Didn't they do 10,000 like last year? Is this still part of the layoffs they said they were going to do, or is this like more layoffs? Eric Polinick, you're not related to Chuck Palahniuk, or is it a reference to Chuck Palahniuk? Because if you know Chuck Palahniuk, I'm going to fanboy out for a second. Anyway. The Redmond-based software maker on Tuesday announced it was letting go of more than 6,000 employees, representing about 3% of its workforce in Washington state. Microsoft laid off 1,985 employees. Jesus. A Microsoft spokesperson said the layoffs weren't performance-based, but rather part of an overall strategy to streamline the corporate ranks and flatten management across the company. My buddy wasn't into management. Microsoft. We both know that's bullshit. Flatten management. I don't think so. Line must go up. I have a little bit of a... Yeah, sounds like PRBS. That's right, Jay Dublin. Let me see if there's anything else in here. At Microsoft, employees describe an increased emphasis on AI in their daily work. Some said they've felt a shift over the past year with more pressure to incorporate AI into their role rather than view it as a helpful tool. In April, CEO Satya Nadella said in a fireside chat with Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg that 20 to 30% of the company's code was written by AI. 20 to 30%? That's crazy. In internal memos from various divisions viewed by the Seattle Times, higher ups, this is Seattle Times, by the way, higher ups said teams would be restructured so that managers had more direct reports under them than before. What? So it wasn't to shore up management. It was to give the managers more direct reports? What? In Microsoft's filing to the state's Employment Security Department, it disclosed the type of roles that have been eliminated and whether employees were coded as managers or individual contributors. Less than 17% of the layoffs affected employees listed as managers. You were right, Dublin. Corporate PR bullshit. That's what that was. This is crazy. I will say, AI can do a lot of coding stuff. You can just say, hey, write me a quick code snippet or something like that. I had to do it for OBS. And I used it for an OBS, like just a little do until loop that went forever or something. And yeah, it'll just do it. So, yeah. Is it good? I mean, it worked for my needs. And I think just like when Photoshop came out and people stopped needing as many hand illustrators, then they needed more Adobe illustrators for Adobe Illustrator. I think we will start to see that shift where there's going to be some sort of new job that comes out of all of this, I hope. But yeah, man, if you're in coding, somebody in chat said, write stuff that might work, but as a developer myself, it's not good code. Oh, I bet, man. I bet. I saw a video on YouTube where they identified code written by AI, and it just had a bunch of like random garbage implemented into it. And like I coded back in high school, so like I can read code if I sit down and like really squint at it. I can't like if you make a clock, I'm gonna have a little bit of a hard time going into the arrays and everything to figure out what you did to make the clock work. AI could make a clock program in like 2 seconds in something like Java. I also went to college while I was at work at IGN. I just wanted to do something in my spare time. I went to college for Java. So I did like Java 1 or something. But anyway, I can read the code. And here's the breakdown anyway of layoffs. I'm kind of going off on a tangent. It's late. Microsoft emphasized that it intended to flatten management layers when it announced layoffs this week, but state data shows managers accounted for only a fraction of the 6,000 worker cut. Managers, individual contributors. Jeez. Microsoft declined to comment. Yeah, I bet they did. No news about the gaming division, though. So maybe they were done with gaming. Did anybody hear anything about the gaming division? So anyway, yeah, Microsoft just axed another 6,000 people. Let's go to something a little more lighthearted. Seeing we're talking about AI, did you hear that Darth Vader was swearing and worse things in Fortnite the other day? Epic is rushing to patch AI Darth Vader slurs in Fortnite. Oh yeah, he's saying like all the slurs. He's swearing. He's saying that the original trilogies aren't the prequels aren't canon, or the one with Ridley. Ridley? I can't remember. I only saw him a few times. So yeah. Friend already got the Vader AI to say a slur, LMAO. Yeah. Yeah, these have been all over Twitter. I'm not going to play them for obvious reasons, but it's pretty funny. And then Helldivers 2, speaking of Helldivers 2, Helldivers 2 Studios' next game will not be tied to PlayStation. Probably for the best. I actually brought up the thread here. So this guy, if you can see over here, this is Discord. Dude, I'm Spike, play whatever. He's talking about the next game is 100% funded by ourselves, so we'll call 100% those shots. I'll read the synopsis here. The wonderful thing is that thanks to the amazing support of you fine people, Arrowhead's future is quite bright, and we have the freedom to explore some really cool concepts that we couldn't have otherwise. Game 6, our next project, will happen the way it happens thanks to you. And there's the quote that I just read to you. I do believe that they said something about PlayStation being a good partner to work with, but I have to imagine the whole debacle left a sour taste in their mouth, and they're just like, yeah, you know what? I'm good. So I thought that was kind of a cool little story. A lot of PlayStation news today, actually. I'm just trying to catch up here. Oh, you want to do a bad Nintendo story? I told you it's been brutal news. Let's do the bad Nintendo story. Seeing we're in the happy stream time right now. Nintendo might brick your Switch if you break the rules. Modding your console might result in Nintendo making it permanently unusable. Console modding enthusiasts beware. Nintendo might take away your system, according to a recently updated account services user agreement and privacy policy. Nintendo reserves the right to render the Nintendo account services and or the applicable Nintendo device permanently unusable in whole or in part. The change, first reported by GameFile, came with a May 7th update and centers on Nintendo's policy regarding how players use their console and Nintendo accounts. Gee, I wonder if this is because people have been stealing their games and running them on NVIDIA cards. I don't like this policy. I think they are doing it to thwart people that rip their games. They just don't, they want to control their IP. But I mean, I get it, but I don't particularly like it because we don't know what the line in the sand is. People obviously are unhappy about the story. I'm kind of like, you know, sometimes there's a story where I'm not 100% Nintendo bad. I'm like 70% Nintendo bad on this one. Maybe 60. This is like a 60% Nintendo bad story, I think. Mainly because... Mainly. And Nintendo does a lot of stuff people don't like. Like, their games are $80 or whatever, right? But, long story short, it's like a 60% because I remember that story we were reading not that long ago where some dude was ripping off their games and streaming them running on an NVIDIA card and trying to just dare them to sue him. And I mean, now he's going to jail probably, but yeah. Kyle says, speaking of bad words, don't understand why Bungie doesn't use heavy moderation and AI to control proximity chat and marathon DOA without it. I agree, Kyle. I agree. Let's settle. Let's agree to settle for 69%. Sounds good, nice guy. This one I'm a little more sour on. This is from Christopher Dring over at The Game Business. He has had some really choice quotes. Like the fact that articles are down 150% at gaming websites. Here's another good get from Christopher Dring. Major media outlets will not have Nintendo Switch 2 reviews at launch. Now, he did not name the outlets in question. I'll ask you, Chad, do you think IGN's going to have one? Like, what's a major media outlet these days? It's like IGN. Who are the big outlets? Who is it? It's IGN, GameSpot, Polygon. CNET's owned by Ziff. SkillUps is big, yeah. I think IGN would get one. Just probably like one, though. Why would they not give it out at this point? Like, that doesn't really make any sense. I guess we'll find out. Like, usually how those embargoes go would be... Hey, Colt, good to see you. Would be that you would get access to the Switch like a week before, maybe. I don't know. Did you own the OG Xbox? Yeah, it's in the closet. I still have it. So yeah, that was another fun story. We covered that one. I was thinking about doing a story along the lines of, and this is going to be a little spicy, why do people keep lying about Ubisoft? But then I started Googling Ubisoft in their last financial report, and I'm like, oh, okay, they're not. Like, that's just in my head. It's not real. Because then I start reading about it. Ubisoft reports big losses. Ubisoft reported a $159 million loss for fiscal year 2024-2025 with a 20.5% drop in next bookings. Assassin's Creed Shadows had strong sales, but poor performance by other titles led to losses. Ubisoft aims to break even in 2025-2026, reduce debt to zero, and return to profitability in the future. As we know, Ubisoft got in such a pickle that they had to spin off a large part of their company, like the single player experiences and such, so that they could survive, basically. And they sold it to Tencent. And the result of all this was their shares drop as it uses more cash to develop games. I thought there would be a chart in here. Yeah, Ubisoft's not doing great. I want to save the PlayStation 5 one until later. Oh, this one really bugged me. And I didn't see it from a lot of the big outlets, but I do know that some of the smaller outlets fell for this. And it was very annoying because after about 10 seconds of research, you could find out that it was BS. Valve addresses alleged Steam hack and clarifies situation. Here's what happened. Nothing happened. Your Valve account was never in danger. Nothing happened. Make sure you have 2FA turned on all of your accounts and don't worry about it so much. I believe I watched Mudahar's video on it, and he said that a small portion of user accounts were leaked via like a third-party call center or something. And that was the long and the short of it. That was it. It's a nothing burger. Nothing actually happened. Yeah. So that's it. And people ran with it though. Anyway, I guess we'll talk about the Sony story. This one was cool. Verge quoted me, so I'm going to quote you, Verge. Sony considers PS5 price hikes to cover Trump's tariffs. The company is also open to moving PlayStation manufacturing to the United States. Sony just announced its financial forecast for the next year, and it's expecting to be impacted by tariffs to the tune of 100 billion yen, almost 680 million. To compensate, the company says it's considering options including moving manufacturing to the U.S. and increasing prices for consumers. What's really interesting, though, is Sony saw this coming, and they are one of the few companies that brought in enough stock to cover 3 months of console sales. This quarter was interesting. I'm very, very interested in next quarter, because the gap right now between PlayStation 5 consoles sold and PlayStation 4 consoles sold, it's something like 1.7%. I could bring up my chart and get you the exact number. I tweeted it, but it is very, very close. It was, the last time we checked, it was something like 2.5%, and now it's 1.7 or 1.8%. I'm going to go through my tweets and find it. But I'm really wondering if they are going to beat that prior target that they had. Where's the chart? Here it is. 1.8. Sorry, I was close. It's 1.8% behind where they were with the PlayStation 4 in the same time period. Yeah, they're considering like manufacturing in the United States, and a lot of people are critical about the strategy with the tariffs. That's what the strategy was with the tariffs. It was to get people to manufacture in the United States. So if they do that, the president is going to tout that as a victory. Like that's what they said they wanted to happen. So, I mean, yeah. I'm not like a super political guy, just so everybody knows, but I watch the news a lot now. So I'm pretty in the know about what's going on in the news. I would recommend buying a console now. Buckle up. Buckle up, everybody. Destin, Sony is never going to manufacture in the US. Let's be real. Makes zero sense. Machine, why does that make 0 sense? Machine's a member. I'm sort of curious. Why does that not make sense? They said they were gonna do it. What we got here? I got your chat up here. I won't put you on blast though. I just want to see what you say. Let's see. All right. Machine wanted to just talk about it. Oh, he said that Sony is never going to manufacture in the US. Let's be real, it makes 0 sense. I mean, they have facilities here. What components will they need to bring over? Most of their components. Intel is talking about... Intel was already talking about bringing a chip plant here under Biden, I believe. Wasn't that a big win for Biden? So I don't know. I don't think it's that crazy. I don't know what I just did. Viewers are discussing Sony's decision to raise PS5 prices due to tariffs. I got one of those AI summaries. I wanted to see what it said. I don't know how to refresh. Wouldn't outweigh the tariff costs, he said. Minimum wage in manufacturing jobs in the US is wild. I don't know, man. They do a lot of their part manufacturing in China. I think the China news, because China and the US are kind of like in a neutral stance right now. They're both agreeing to drop their tariffs or something. And then I think if that holds or that is better, it's going to be good for everybody, I think. Especially like gaming related things. A lot of the components and the stuff that we use is made in China. A lot of them. So, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It's 90 days, WPM. Yeah. Mexico would be the best option. That is where lots of our TVs are put together. I don't know about the tariff situation with Mexico right now, though. And they would have to go down there. They would have to go build the plants. And like you're talking about, what, 3 years minimum before you can get your first chip even out of there? And that's like a rush job. Eric Flinick says, so maybe things need to get worse before they get better. It seems like, I've been following the tariff stuff pretty close. It seems like what's going on is people are coming to the table to do something about the tariffs. Most people are coming to the table. I think that's what he wanted. I actually think the fact that China agreed to pause tariffs temporarily, like 0 tariffs, that's insane. That's insane to think of. Like they were already tariffing us a lot. It's like even if that's renegotiated and brought down 50% or something, I think that'd be significant. Gabo, tell me more. How am I naive? They are 30% now? Okay. Tariffs also aren't new, which ought to be stressed. Yeah, I know that. Gabo said I'm naive. I'm waiting for him to say anything else he wants to say. Tariffs are not paused with China. All right, let me Google that. Well, here's NBC News saying they're paused. U.S. companies surged shipments from China following tariff pause. Freight bookings out of China increased nearly 300% this week. So I'm sorry. What am I naive about? They're paused. Trump announced Monday that he was reducing the tariff on Chinese imports for For 90 days, will Washington and Beijing continue trade talks? I know it's for 90 days. I said paused. Brian T has got the deets. 90-day agreement, 30% U.S. import tariff with China at 10% tariff, down from the escalation. That's good. A lot of people, I've seen headlines saying Trump folded. I think his whole plan was to get China to the table. Why am I evil? What? I'm just reading the news, y'all. Supposedly they came to an agreement the other day? Really? Oh, the other guy's trolling. How is it a fold then? Ultimately, the issue is that Congress has the power of the purse. The issue is if it does not hold up in courts, the tariffs won't hold. I think he's baiting you. It's okay, Destin, I'm with you. No, I'm just having a conversation because this impacts us as gamers, right? The whole tariff thing, yeah. Tariffs aren't paused. Guys. US, this is like, it's from May 16th. Do you want me to go to CNN or Fox? Or like, who do you want me to go to? They're paused, you guys, for 90 days. Why does Ocean Beach... Is that my wife telling me to go to bed? What outlet do you approve of me going to? Chat. It's just news, you guys. Here's Business Insider. Trump's 90-day tariff pause with China is too little too late for some small businesses. They're paused, you guys. You're right. Yeah. I'm not crazy. Do you want me to ask Grok? Hey, Grok. Hey, Grok. Are the tariffs paused? Let's get a nice neutral source here from Grok. No problem there, right, everybody? As of May 19th, the status of the U.S. tariffs based on available information is as follows. General tariff pause. On April 9th, 2025, a 90-day pause was announced on most reciprocal tariffs for over 75 countries. Oh, it's more than just China. Is that true? Full list of Trump's tariffs country by country. Look after the 90-day pause. Trump announced a pause for most countries except China, whose tariffs he raised to 125. Well, this was old. So he had already paused a bunch of the tariffs. I just want to know about China specifically. With the exception of China, that was old. That happened in April. Okay, Grok sucks. Okay, Gabo's getting all mad. Gabo thinks I don't know that he had a bunch of tariffs. Jesus, Destin, I had no idea you are this naive. Jesus, dude, he tariffed tons of countries. He didn't tariff tons of countries. He tariffed all the countries. Anybody who had tariffs, he implemented reciprocal tariffs on them. So, yeah. It wasn't a ton of countries. It was all of them. Any country who had tariffs got reciprocal tariffs. Yes, even the penguins, Kyle. No. Gabo drunk on a Saturday night. See you, boss. Thanks for stopping by. Grok, though, like, Jesus. Like, it's not even correct. Everybody knows they paused the China tariffs. That news happened, like, a few days ago. McDonald's Island 2? Yeah, McDonald's Island 2. Let's move on though. So yeah, anyway, it'll be interesting to see how that all ends up shaking out. I don't like the tariff stuff. Everything's more expensive right now. Xbox had to raise their console prices. That sucks. You could read the next line. I can't. What did I say, Wire Rope? All right, let's get back on track, everybody. I need to know chat's opinion on something. Do you like the music or no? I'm going to do a poll on YouTube. Did you like the music bed on this episode of the live stream? Yes or no? Very curious to hear your thoughts on that one. Music is hype. You like it? One of the things I did when I started out was I wanted to not do music. Music implements a ton of freaking problems because I get flagged all the time. I'm currently in dispute for 2 React videos that had 3 seconds of a song that got flagged in it. I'm not kidding you. And in both of those instances, I asked before I did the reaction, which is why I'm like, nope, I'm actually going to argue this one, fair use and permission. Because not only did I ask permission and get it in writing in an email, but like it's nonsense. Like I reacted to the Grand Theft Auto trailer. That one I might lose, but I had asked before I reacted to it. Anyway. 85% of people like the music. Wow. All right, well, I'm going to get some more Harris Heller tracks and just create a big playlist that can play in the background. But I have to turn it off for news videos. That's going to be kind of annoying. But I think they work quite well for live streams. We're going to rapid fire a few of these, and then I'm going to go to bed. Here we go. I was going to play Gray Zone Warfare tonight, by the way. I have early access. I have not had time to touch it. No, I didn't create this playlist, Woodsworth. This is from Harris Heller. He's a content creator who allows you to, like, just use his music. I don't know why he just lets you use it, but he's great. His music's awesome. His music is awesome. All right. EA is bringing employees back to the office 3 days a week. People are not happy about this. Yeah, I did a review for Doom the Dark Ages, Laws. You can go check it out. I really liked it. I am in the I like it. So CEO Andrew Wilson and president of EA Entertainment and Technology sent emails to staff about the change. We've adopted a globally consistent hybrid work model to bring teams together with greater clarity and intent, enabling faster decisions, sharper execution, and stronger connection to one another. At least 3 days a week in the office, so there will be flexibility on other roles. Employees who live within 30 miles of an EA location will transition to a hybrid work model. Employees who live outside the 30-mile radius will be considered remote unless their role is designated as on-site or hybrid. The off-site local model is going to be sunset within 3 to 24 months. Wait, what? What's off-site local? Oh, okay. In addition, any work model exception and future remote hires will require CEO's direct/my approval. Wow. So you have to get CEO approval to hire a remote worker. That's crazy. Do we have any EA employees in chat who could speak to this? What's your take on the 5060? Bro, I can't even get a 50 series card. Like I'm not going to pay. I refuse to pay a scalper for a card. So I just won't upgrade because I'm going to pay like $1,000 more than they're actually worth. I get why EA would want people to get back into the office. I get it. I don't want to get clipped, but I don't think, I do think there are some benefits to being in an office. Yeah, Machine XP, you're great, dude. No worries at all. You were very respectful. I appreciate the back and forth about tariffs. Lol, still love you, huh? I'm always like open to chat and learn about it. You'll with the $10 for no reason. Thanks, man. 10 pounds. Appreciate it. All I was going to say was I love remote work. I get why people love it. It works really well for me. I do think that there are benefits to working in an office. Hope your time with Gray Zone will be smoother later. Been holding out. It's been really, really good. Clementine. They're coming. I think they're releasing it soon, but yeah. That's my super hot take on remote work. My GPU was $3,500. Jesus. Do a test and get clipped. Yeah. My super hot take is I understand the value to working in an office, but I also understand why people like remote work. I like remote work a lot. So yeah. It's very good for people who have new kids and such. Yeah, I got 2 little kids. It's a lot. It's a huge life and cost saver. If I ever miss a stream, it's because I'm being a dad. So I know that's a letdown when I can't do these. Like today it was because I was figuring out a bunch of technical issues. Oh my God. So like my legacy Facebook account, if you all can actually do me a really silly favor, I won't be able to do anything for a while, but I'm trying to make a new Facebook account. So if you could help me out, I'm just going to link to it here in a second. Go to facebook.com/Destin on Facebook and just like it or follow it if you even still have a Facebook account. I need 100 followers on the new account before I can stream to it. And I need to like be there for 90 days. The problem is at some point a million years ago, I converted my account to a personality page. And then I like barely use Facebook, right? But I have a personal account where like it's my wedding photos and stuff. I don't want the public to see that. But anyway, I converted it, and apparently they depreciated that style, so I can still use it, but it's like super restricted and limited. I can't export. The way I found out is I can't export from Media Encoder to that page. And I'm like, well, why not? And they're like, oh, this page sucks. You need to change it. You need to change everything. And I'm like, oh man. So yeah. I want to start doing more shorts. The YouTube channel has been blowing up. Some people on Patreon wanted me to talk about a few things. So I guess we'll... All right, well, I got to figure out how to turn off notifications. Some people were asking how it's going. YouTube's been blowing up. The Patreon right now is sort of in flux because obviously I made it free for a week. So I have to imagine a few of the people were like, well, you made everything free. What are you doing? I was trying like a little promotion. Like, hey, here's what I've been doing. You can go read all the articles and stuff that I posted. Check it out. And then next week, I've got to go through and manually. It's like 100 posts now or something. Manually, like, set each to its appropriate tier and things. And I also got flagged by a few members that, like, I think one thing that I might do in the near future is I'm going to, for the highest level patrons, I'm just going to do an office hours stream bi-weekly with just the highest tier members. Because I feel like I need something up there. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to work on a script or something and just chat with them. Anything they want to talk about. I'm not good at Patreon. I'm not good at doing the Patreons because I don't know what to offer you, you know? So that's been the hard thing. I'm like, well, like, I'm doing like all the stuff I think. I remember one time I did like these postcards on Twitch and that was kind of fun. But yeah, long story short, I have trouble knowing what people actually want. Will you ever consider joining Last Stand Media if the opportunity presented, like as an employee? I don't know. Dude, you're blowing up because you're becoming more distant to MSM gaming. What's MSM? I would have to know what Colin's offer is, I guess, but I would be happy to join them on Defining Duke or on Colin's show or whatever. That'd be good. But anyway, yeah, so that Facebook page needs 100 followers before I can like do anything with it. And I was going to ask. I really appreciate, I see some people already followed it. Definitely appreciate it quite a bit. Thank you. Thank you, Kraka. I like your profile picture. Speaking of independence, Giant Bomb escapes fandom and went independent. So this was announced like during PAX. Basically, everybody said, yeah, we're not going to do anything with you after they said that they were going to like mess around with Giant Bomb. So they sold the people Giant Bomb. So like the 4 original owners own it now. So it's like Grub and several others. And I have seen Jeff Gertzman also on there regularly. But yeah. So here's the report from Ethan Gatch. I do like Ethan on Kotaku. I like Ethan's reporting. I think every time I've read Ethan's stuff, it's solid. I've never seen an Ethan story where I was like all ruffled up about. But yeah. Fandom has told Giant Bomb back to the people who make it. Staffers Jeff Grubb and Jeff Bakalar now own the website and its podcast, the group announced on stage at PAX East over the weekend, alongside co-hosts Dan Reichert and Jan Ochoa. Great, good for them. I wish them all the best. World's famous Giant Bomb. And people are obviously pretty happy. It's good news. It's because we almost lost that whole company, and we'll see how it goes. Do you think Sony should just buy out / give financial payout to upper management at Bungie and get their own people in there? Skill issue. I think they are just going to let this marathon situation ride out. I don't think they need to do anything. I'm going to say it. I think Pete Parsons sucks. I think he's bad at his job, and I think he has driven them towards their death. That's my personal opinion. I think they're screwed because of the decisions he made. He overvalued them by 45%. It's ridiculous. And the buck stops literally with him. He can take all those bucks and ride off into the sunset after he drives Bungie, one of the most prolific, best developers on planet Earth, into the ground. You got somebody else on that I'm not supposed to like? Let's look at the list. So we have the lawsuit ongoing right now with Barrett against Bungie that calls out Pete. We have another former employee, Marty O'Donnell, who calls out Pete. We have documentaries out there that call out Pete. How many times does his name have to come up? Like, I don't think he's the boogeyman. I just think he's the guy ruining everything. Mark Noseworthy and Luke Smith, like, they were just like, yeah, we're done. We'll just leave. Let's see. We'll just end on a little bit of a more positive note. There's some, like, minor stuff. Like, Strauss Zelnick said some stuff. I didn't find it that interesting. Yeah, I'm getting tired, too. Fallout was renewed for Season 3, and Season 2 is coming in December. All right, let's do it. Fallout was great. I'm very happy they're doing 3 seasons. We got New Vegas coming in December, and then we have another something coming further down the line. Oh my God, I streamed for 2 hours. I can't believe it. Time flew by, y'all. That was great. Thank you for dealing with the technical test at the top of the stream. I'm happy about the Fallout news. And yeah. I tried a new tool to multi-stream. I will keep using the methodology I've had. I've been having issues with the way I used to do it, and I'm like, all right, I want to try some new stuff and see how it goes. Add some music, figure out Facebook, and just see what happens. If you want to support the channel, well, obviously hit the subscribe button, hit that bell, hit the like button, hit everything on whatever platform that you're watching on. Hopefully you'll check out YouTube though, youtube.com/thedestin channel. If you want to support further than that, you can become a member, patreon.com/SaveStatePlus. We got one of the members in chat right now. We got Christopher Eddy, Phil Aroni is the one in chat, Spin Getter and Aries. And I see some other, I see Machine XP. He was talking with me earlier. I do appreciate it very much. And I did see some other members in chat today. You all rock. Let me know over on patreon.com/SaveStatePlus what you think about the idea of doing like an office hours every other week. If that would be something you'd be into, might be something I could offer at the higher levels. Just a smaller group. It'd probably be more comfortable that way. And yeah, that's kind of it for the stream today. Thanks for the tech test. I think X is good to go. It's a little annoying how I have to set it up, but it's not that bad. And I think it's done now. I think now that I've done it once, I don't have to mess with it. Facebook's easy. X and Facebook are easy. Kick is not easy. I got to figure out Kick. Nobody watched anyway. It was a disaster. But this stream wasn't a disaster. Yeah, the YouTube channel is doing really well. I thought that I would try and figure out something in terms of streaming and just keeping up my cadence. People were very positive about like the shorts. Like I don't know what happened, but I looked at the subscribers and you can see on April 27th I had 126,000 and now I have 128,000. It's like in less than a month, in like 15-16 days, the channel just like started blowing up. And that happens. You have these lulls in life, like you have peaks, like, you know, hitting 100,000, then it's kind of like you're just kind of trudging along, and then and then it feels like it's going like that right now. So feeling the positive momentum that inspired me to try a few things like shorts, streaming in multiple locations. I hope you enjoyed the stream today. Thanks for watching, everybody. I do think I will get out of here before my voice gives out on me, but this was great. Thank you. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye for now, everybody.